Hey guys, it's me Jayzo, and this is gonna be another what if. This one is gonna be short. It's gonna have some of part 1, but mainly it's just part 0, because this is gonna be the prologue to what's actually gonna be happening in the what if that makes sense. So this one is what if Naruto was half Otutsuki, but I also made a new clan called Tsukotai, and was the reincarnation of the Sage of Six Paths. Also, for this what if, I'm going to give him Matatabi, Son Goku, and the full Kurama. Sasuke is going to have the 3 tails, the 5 tails, and the 7 tails. Gaara will still have Shukaku though. Killer Bee will also still have the 8 tails. So I'm just going to be making him completely overpowered, him and Sasuke completely overpowered in this what if. I'm gonna draw a dojutsu, and like what I did with the last what if, I'm gonna put a picture up of the dojutsu on my other channel called Jai Draws. So go down and go and subscribe to that channel. Again, Jai Draws, JAIDRAWS. Anyway, I'm gonna put a picture of the dojutsu. I'm gonna try and figure out how to draw it. Then I'm gonna put a picture of that up. I'm gonna make a new character, which is gonna be Sasuke's sibling. Again, I was talking to my friend James, the one that helped me in my other what if. I was talking to him and asking him some questions, and these are some of the things that we came up with. So we're gonna give Sasuke a sister. I'm gonna try and be more detailed in their abilities and what's happening in the story. Sakura is going to be useful. Minato is going to be alive, but Naruto is also going to be in the Anbu for part of his life, so he's going to know Kakashi. He's going to take the scroll of sealing from. Back to what I was saying. Naruto is still going to seal the scroll of sealing. He's going to learn tons of jutsu, because in this what if he's also a prodigy. So like I was saying, Naruto and Sasuke are both prodigies, and so I'm just making them overpowered. And because Naruto is the reincarnation of the Sage of Six Paths, he's gonna get the true secret orbs a lot earlier than he did in canon, whenever he got them during the 4th Great Ninja War. He's gonna learn how to float, has amazing chakra control to the point where everybody can see his chakra, and he can freely move it around and attack. So you can make a sword with it, a whip with it. He can make a shield and other types of stuff like that. So he made his own kind of clone called a chakra clone. And what the chakra clone is it's self-explanatory. It's a clone made out of chakra. But basically what it does is, as soon as something touches the chakra from the chakra clone, the chakra clone is able to fight. So as soon as something touches the chakra, it is able to react to that and try and fight them. Also, what's gonna happen is he's gonna be more built and work out and train from an earlier age than he did. And since he's a prodigy, he's also going to, learn fast. Matatabi and Son Goku both end up persuading Kurama, the 9 tails, to be nice to Naruto. So whenever Naruto's mad, like that incident with Haku and with Orochimaru, the 9 tails isn't going to try and take over. He's actually going to be nicer and try and help, especially because the Sage of Six Paths is also telling him to. And in this what if, Sasuke and Naruto are also going to be even more rivals. Monsieur Batman Sensei. And yeah, so now let's start some of part 1. This is going to be pretty short because I'm trying to rush through this part, but I'm going to try and make this part more detailed. Still detailed. Anyway, so what we're going to start off with is, you know how the otutsuki split into the Senju and Uchiha. Yeah, so let's just say that somehow, some way, what's it called? What's her name? Kushina was was full otutsuki, and we're gonna say that Minato was the tsukotai. And so that's how Naruto is half otutsuki, half tsukotai. And Naruto's parents still die to the Nine Tails, and the Nine Tails get sealed into Naruto. As soon as he gets sealed into Naruto, he feels this familiar kind of chakra. Well, Matatabi and Son Goku were sealed in Naruto first, but as soon as he gets sealed in, he feels this familiar chakra. Not from his brothers and sisters, but from somebody else that he knows and loves. And then it takes him a while, but then he finally figures out that it's his dad, the Sage of Six Paths. So he's like, "Father, are you here?" I'm not going to try and do a Kurama voice. And eventually, at one point, he wasn't responding, so he's just like, I guess it was just my siblings. And then after that, the Sage of Six Paths appears and starts talking to Kurama, telling him that this boy is going to be a prodigy and he's a child of prophecy, and to leave him alone and make sure that he is able to have a good life and try and not to take control of him. Kurama agrees and says, "How are you here and how long are you staying here?" And that's when the Sage of Six Paths tells Kurama that this boy is my reincarnation. He might actually become stronger than me. Because what the tsukotai are, they're basically siblings of the otutsuki, but not the otutsuki. And yeah, that's basically what they are. And so what happens is Kurama heard a little bit about the Tsukotai clan, but doesn't really know much about it. And so, yeah, that happens. Now, fast forward a couple years later, when let's say Naruto is, 4. And what happens is he's 4.5. He's about to turn 5. His 5th birthday is in a couple of weeks, 2 weeks. He turns 5 in 2 weeks, yeah. So he's there, falls asleep, wondering why people glare at him because his family's gone. He doesn't know who his family are. And that's when he gets put into his mindscape. And in said mindscape, he meets Kurama, Matatabi, Son Goku, and the Sage of Six Paths. By the way, during the attack, only Kurama attacked. The other tail beasts weren't in that close vicinity to attack. So, yeah, that happened. And they're all talking to Naruto. The Sage of Six Paths is first up, though. He is telling Naruto who he is, who his parents are, who these big beasts are, and what's going to possibly happen in the future. He says, "Naruto, these are 3 of my 9 children. Here's Kurama, Matatabi, and Son Goku." And then he says, "I am what is called the father of chakra, the Sage of Six Paths. You will learn about it in school. And your parents are Minato Namikaze, or Minato Tsukotai, and Kushina Otsutsuki." And so basically what happens is they start talking, and Naruto finally figures out what's happening. And then he's saying that he's going to want to train so that he can be as strong as them and not be a burden, even though they are living inside of his body, if you know what I mean. And so a week before his birthday, he starts training. The Sage of Six Paths then tells him this: don't train your body too hard, because then that will damage your body and you won't be getting back what you're trying to put in. And number 2, I have a ton of what is called Kekkei Genkai. I have like I said, what is called a Kekkei Genkai, and basically those are dojutsu, or just other. A dojutsu is where your eye changes its form and gives you a certain power, like the Sharingan or the Byakugan. You must know what those are. Naruto then nods yes. And I have every single one, and eventually, as you get older, you will get them. And the sage then takes him to this room that he made that basically has this chart of every Kekkei Genkai in the world that he could possibly get. And on it, there are like bars, and like next to the dojutsu, there are like bars, and the closer that it is to max is the closer Naruto is to getting those dojutsu. He tells him this, and Naruto sees that he's about to unlock both the Byakugan and the One Tomoe Sharingan. He is excited. And so then he continues training, and one day, let's say 3 months later, he ends up unlocking the One Tomoe Sharingan. He was really happy about this, but the sage then tells him that you can't tell anybody about this, because technically you're not supposed to have it, and they're not going to believe that you have the Father of Chakra inside of you. So let's just not tell them. And Naruto nods yes to this, and then Son Goku starts training Naruto in taijutsu. And so basically, at the age of 7, Naruto is already better at taijutsu than Lee. Like, he's better at fighting, but he's not as fast as Lee was, especially not as fast as Lee without weights. He was close, though. At the age of 7, he was about as fast as Sasuke was in the Chunin exam. So Naruto is really fast for his age. He's also more built, and he's taller. He's eating better. And yeah, that's happening. So basically, what starts to happen is, well, Naruto meets Choji and Shikamaru, who, like in canon, doesn't have their parents telling them to stay away from him. So they become friends. And then one day, whenever Naruto's 8 years old and he's going to the academy, he sees this girl and sees Sasuke standing next to her. So he assumes that they're like together or like in the same family. But he doesn't say anything to Sasuke because he feels that Sasuke might be like the other villagers. So Naruto does nothing and just signs up to the academy. And then afterwards, Choji, Shikamaru, and Naruto all go home. And while they're going home, what ends up happening is that they are, training. They train before they go home for a couple of minutes just because they have some free time. And so, yeah, they're training for a bit. And then Naruto then says, okay, I'm going to go train on my own. And they're wondering why. But Naruto doesn't really say anything because, like the Sage of Six Paths said, he can't really tell his friends that he has the Sharingan and whatnot. So he doesn't really say anything. He just says, it's fine, y'all can go home and I'll just train by myself. They're still questioning why, but they don't say anything like out loud. And yeah, that's happening. While this is all going down, Naruto is, all happy and whatnot because of his Sharingan and his now unlocked Byakugan. He's able to, and with the Byakugan, he basically trains with it twice at the same time, technically. Because, okay, so what he does is he has it to where he uses the Byakugan, and since the Byakugan can see through stuff, while he's using it and fighting, he's training the duration and how long he can have it out. Well, technically 3 things. He's checking the duration and how long he can have it out. He's checking how far he can see with it. And he's also using it to make sure to see if there's anybody around him that could possibly see him. And then one day he's like this and he sees Hinata. And he hasn't really noticed Hinata following him around, but the sage and the other tail beast have, and he notices this a lot sooner than he did in Ganon. And because of this, he then starts training with Hinata, and not even little by little, but like they quickly begin having a close relationship or friendship, I guess I should say. And they are really close. They spend like all their time together and are always training and having fun. Naruto is more like creative whenever he comes to eating, and he also knows how to cook. So sometimes he'd bring Hinata over to his house and they'd have lunch, dinner, or breakfast, depending on what time she's there. And we're also going to say that Hiyashi doesn't hate Naruto. And Neji's still the same, but Hiyashi does not hate Naruto, so it's okay with him if Naruto is helping Hinata training, especially because he can see the improvement that she's had ever since Naruto started training with her, and he's happy by this. And so now they're like 9 years old, and Hiyashi goes to the people who put the teams together and asks if Naruto and Hinata can be on the same team. They were about to interrupt him and say, no, we can't make sure that Naruto isn't on the same team. But whenever they hear what he actually was trying to say, they were surprised by this. But they were also fine with it. And so Naruto and Hinata are all on the same team. And yeah, the Sasuke's sister, who still shall not be named, is also on the team. And Minato didn't die. Minato's alive. Kushina is dead. I completely forgot about that. So Minato, let's just like go back and see what Minato would have done. He has done. So at the age of 4, Naruto tells Minato, or whenever he's like after that whole thing with the Sage of Six Paths happens, Naruto tells Minato that of everything that is inside of him. Minato knows this, but still, he tells Minato everything. And Minato is surprised that he has the Sage of Six Paths, but isn't really surprised about the Tail Beasts. And so then what starts to happen is they train. Minato teaches Naruto the flying Raijin, the flying thunder god, for him and the second Hokage. Teaches him the Rasengan. They both together as father and son master the Rasengan. Naruto meets Jiraiya earlier. Whenever Jiraiya went to meet up with Minato, he meets Jiraiya. Naruto tells him that he has the Byakugan and the Sharingan, and Minato's also the reason why Naruto knows how to cook. And so yeah, all that is happening. And so yeah. And also like in the original, Naruto keeps his mother's last name. So his name is Naruto Otutsuki. Because now let's just give him his father's, because I still question why that happened. So his name is Naruto Tsukotai. And so basically what's happening is they're training, and that's how Naruto gets a lot faster. At this point now he's as fast as Lee is in the Chunin exams at the age of 10. He's still like I said, he still hangs out with Hinata and whatnot. That's another reason why Hiyashi doesn't hate Naruto, because he knows that he's the fourth Hokage's son. And so yeah, they're just having an amazing time. And whenever they're 12 and put on the same teams, like I said, what happened was Naruto was on the team with Hinata and the other girl who's, like I said, shall not be named. Also, Naruto has a secret past, and we'll find out what that is later. And so they meet Kakashi, and Kakashi knows Naruto. Like I said, we'll find out later why. Because one, he is his sensei's son. Two, like I said, we'll find out later. And so yeah, they have their conversation, they're talking and whatnot. And then that's when they're told about the bell test. Minato doesn't tell Naruto that he can still eat. He knows what Kakashi's doing, but he doesn't tell Naruto that he can still eat or what the test is about. Naruto then still does whatever and goes ahead and eats. He cooks up his own food, takes a little jog, and then, not a little jog, he's outside practicing to like equip and unequip his Sharingan, and at this point he's mastered the two Tomoe Sharingan, and at this point Sasuke doesn't even have his Sharingan. And so they make it to the bell test. Hinata and Naruto arrived at the same time because they met up before, and then they went there. Yeah. So now what's happening is Naruto and Hinata see Kakashi is late, and Naruto has some lunch for Hinata because he knew that she probably wouldn't have eaten. And then proceeds to give Hinata some lunch, as well as the other girl that's there. They eat, and then like 2 hours later, Kakashi appears, and they're all glad that they ate and that they're fine. And this is when Kakashi tells them the rule about the bell test, and that his sensei came up with this test. And yeah, that happens. So Naruto is fighting Kakashi, and he has those sword things that the Anbu have? Yeah, Naruto has one, because, like I was saying, the secret pass. So basically, Naruto at one point, for about a year, from whenever he was 11 to 12, he stopped hanging out with Hinata for a bit, and that's because he became an Anbu. But Kakashi told Minato, and Minato didn't like the Anbu, and since it was his son, he could make his son stop being in the Anbu. And so only for about a year, Naruto was in the Anbu. But he learned a lot of stuff from Kakashi. He learned how to use a Chidori because Kakashi and Minato are the only ones that know that Naruto has a Sharingan. And they actually believe him and how he got the Sharingan. And so, yeah, that happens. So that's another reason why Kakashi knows Naruto. And so Naruto is the first one to start fighting Kakashi. What he does is he uses his chakra clones, because he already knows how to use the chakra clones. He uses his chakra clones, and they're running at, Kakashi. Kakashi's trying to fight them, but for whatever reason, they're dodging his attacks and then always trying to counterattack. Kakashi's able to dodge theirs to an extent. And by that extent, I mean he has to use his Sharingan. And so Kakashi uses his Sharingan, and Sasuke's sister, I should just come up with a name for her. 1 second. Okay, her name is Rei. Not Rai. Rei. Her name is Rei. R-E-I. So, Rei, Hinata, and Naruto all meet up together in the bushes, and Naruto tells them that he's gonna use his chakra clone. And they're like, what is a chakra clone? They're like, I'll explain to you later after the bell test. And so he said, I'm gonna use my chakra clone, and then I'm going to use my chakra whip, and you throw it all the way over to where it rests on Kakashi's leg, and then try and make him fall down. But he's most likely going to use a substitution, so watch around for his substitution afterwards. And then that's whenever we're going to finally push and get Kakashi and take the bells. And then they're like, but there's only 2 bells. But then he's like, it's most likely teamwork, because there has never been a team with only 3 people. And so they then agree to, fight Kakashi. Naruto does this. He sends out his chakra clones, and he does a whip. And like he thought, Kakashi substituted. They know where Kakashi is because Naruto had told them to pay attention, and they did. So they find where Kakashi is, and they start signaling to Naruto where Kakashi is, because Naruto didn't know where Kakashi was. They signal to Naruto where it is, and Naruto then starts fighting Kakashi, knowing that he's not going to substitute again. Naruto, without making sure that they can't see, then equips his 2 Tomoe Sharingan, and so, yeah, Naruto is fighting Kakashi with the 2 Tomoe Sharingan. Naruto is kind of keeping up with Kakashi. At this point, at the age of 12, he is as fast as Lee was without his weights on. It's like he's like really, really pushing himself. He can get as fast as Lee, but not for a long time. He also does not have the gates. Naruto continues fighting Kakashi and just like barely taps the bells, which leads Kakashi to then put all of his force into one kick and kick Naruto in the ribs. Naruto then laughs at this, and Kakashi's like, well, what are you laughing at? You just got sent flying. And then Naruto says, I'm laughing because I don't know if it's just me, but those bells aren't ringing anymore. Kakashi then looks down at the bells and sees that Rei and Hinata have taken the bells. And I got this from like another what if. What is it called? It's called the CRA. And I'm just doing that so both Hinata and Rei can be with Naruto legally. And yeah, we're not gonna do some extra stuff, just Rei and Naruto, because not Rei, Naruto, and Hinata to be together. And yeah, basically that happens. And so he goes to the 4th and 3rd Hokage, and they say it's fine. Minato is quite iffy about it because it's his son, but then he says yes because the Otutsuki are basically are dead. He's the last Otutsuki, and his father and him are the last tsukotai. And so yeah, that's happening. And Naruto then proceeds to go over and starts training with Kakashi, Hinata, and Rei. He tells them about the CRA, and they say that they'll talk to each other about it before having a definite answer. He says that he's fine with this, and then goes to continue training. He tells Hinata about his Sharingan and Byakugan first, because he has spent more time with Hinata than Rei. He then asked Hinata if he should tell Rei that he has these dojutsu. And she's like, yes, especially if we're probably going to join, she would need to know this. And so Naruto says, okay, then goes to Rei, tells her this. And Rei equips her Sharingan afterwards, and he's like, you're an Uchiha? And she's like, yes, I am. Sasuke is my brother. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Cool. And she's like, yeah, he's nice whenever you get to know him. And after that, they then meet with Sasuke, and Sasuke and Naruto become pretty good friends. For a while, actually. They become pretty good friends. They have a good friendship. They're able to talk to each other about some stuff and whatnot. And so now, I'm going to end the part 1 here, because this actually was pretty long. Ending part 1 here. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all on the next time. I'm pretty sure this is coming out Friday. Anyway, enjoy my other what ifs during the week.